Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for this session. This session is a media review from the sessions we had in January. We had quite a number where we looked at the year, what we wanted it to look like, and what we are going to set for the year for ourselves. Now, this year, at the middle of the year, we are all in this together. That means you, all of you on the call, including me, Kathy, and Claire, we keep each other accountable through the year. If you had gotten someone to be accountable to, me, I'm accountable to Kathy and Claire through the year. And we just want to leave that example and be able to show you that example of how we are accountable to each other. We would like you guys to contribute on the chat with the ideas you have. We are all in this together to be able to learn from each other. We're just going to show you what has worked for us and how we've been able to go from Jan to June and how we can go from June to December together. These sessions, we're going to have more in Jan, which are going to be the same. We plan for the year together. We'll have physical sessions, we'll have online sessions. So please just make sure you're there. If you want to spend time with us physically, you'll be able to in Jan and December, and we shall be able to plan together. So this session of the year, we're just going to look back and see how we have been able to do it in our personal lives and business-wise, or things you've been able to do. We shall share. We have broken it down into 3 parts, which is basically dreaming big. Claire will be asking us questions on how and where we have reached with our lives. And then I will also help with setting goals again and see how we were able to set our goals in January and how we can reset them at this time of the year. Then Kathy will talk to us about taking action. You're welcome. Claire will just dive right in because we do not want to spend a lot of your time on a Saturday afternoon. We're so grateful that you can spend it with us and we don't take that for granted. So over to you, Claire, to start us off today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Primera. And thank you everyone for showing up on time, excited. I hope you have, I'm just trying to share one of my presentations. So thank you. I can see some familiar names in the chat. Hi, I think, Primera, do we need introductions? I don't think so. Yeah, so my name is Claire Omakech. We were together at the beginning of the year. I told the members who are present to dream big, to dream big. So in the chat, I would like you to just say, just in one line, how Jan to June is working out for you. What are some of the dreams that you had put down? I encourage most of you to have vision boards. I hope by now everyone has a vision board. I had someone ordering for a vision board yesterday. And so it's never too late. It's never too late to actually have a vision board. So in this session, I just want to check in to see how you're doing in terms of setting those grand goals. We say this year is going to be our year. This year we are going to be relentless. We are going to be different. We are going to grow. And every single time someone sends me a message and says, Claire, I got the job, I managed to quit my job. I managed to, to start my online business. I wrote my CV. All those are like steps. Primera told us it's in the simple steps and the simple habits that we create that we can actually see some of these dreams come true. So Primera will take us through the circle of life or wheel of life, and we'll review those bits. But my task today is to just encourage you, to dream big, Yes, we are halfway the year, but our lives are moments. Today, your decision to log in here may be life-changing. So every single time, every day you wake up, you need to be excited about that very day and the things that are going to happen in that day. And so I just want to encourage you that, yes, you put all these trips, all these goals on the board, and from Jan to date, it's like everything is going downhill. Every phone call is bad news. Every, nothing works. You have a grand dream on your board, and you still see nothing happening to date. I just want to encourage you that it was not a magic board, but if you look within, you are also changing. You are also changing. If you're intentional about recording about the habits that you came up with, because I remember we said, come up with a habit, one habit that you can stick with the rest of the year. One of the things that I encourage you to do was reading, and some people took over that. They said, okay, I'll do one thing, I'll pick up reading. I'll read one book a month. So if someone has been reading one book a month, we have like 5 books, and you don't need to read 1,000 books, 100 books for them to have an impact. You can only read one book. You can read one book and it will change your life. You can read only just a quote and it changes your life. So of the things that I have done, the things that I decided to do this year, continue doing. And one of the things that I set out to do was, of course, to be grateful. I said I'll be grateful this year. And I've been writing down, I got my book here. This is one of my notebooks. And I've been writing down some of the good things, because if you're dreaming big, you also need to notice the small miracles that God is bringing your way on a daily basis. So I've been writing down the things that God has been doing since the year began. And it's amazing because I asked God for 12 sessions, planning sessions. And so far, we're not yet in December, but I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sessions. And yet I had asked for 12 sessions for a whole year, 1 session a year. So God has done amazing things in different areas of my life. And one of the things that I'm grateful for is my morning routine. I said I'm going to try as much as I can to maintain my morning routine. And that is beginning the day with gratitude, beginning the day with prayer. I've been doing it, but because I have children, I have all this, sometimes I don't stick to it. But this year I said, by God's grace, I should be able to start each day on a good note. And it has helped me because at my workplace, it's really, really hectic in terms of the things that I need to get done. Days are very, very different, and there's so much pressure. So beginning the day with gratitude has helped me stay upbeat, stay encouraged throughout. So another thing was affirmations. This year, I've always read about affirmations, and I've never really tried them out. Yeah, you have, I'm beautiful, I'm valuable, 1 or 2, 3. But this year I said, no, I'm going to get 100 affirmations, and I put them in a notebook, this notebook. And every day I have to read these affirmations that will encourage me to continue to dream big. And so as we continue to pursue our dreams, I encourage you to get affirmations. I'll just read like 5, 5 affirmations. But in here, I have 150 affirmations that are numbered, and I read them every day and even every evening. I'm loved and I love in return. I attract only good things in my life. I am blessed I have greatness within me. I meet each day with gratitude. I'm healthy, whole, and balanced. God is supporting me. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I open my mind to new opportunities each day. I'm confident about my future, on and on. And these affirmations have really, really, really helped me to stay on track, even when there's nothing grand that is happening in my life. So I'm encouraging you to create habits. Get one habit that you can do to help you stay focused and dream big. So I keep a number of notebooks, but you can even have only one. You can have one notebook where you put your affirmations, those that mean a lot to you in terms of if you're struggling to keep the faith, you can get scripture and put it down. If you want something about self-esteem, if you just want daily motivation, write around 100. I have 115 here, and every day I keep adding on the affirmations. Some depend on the seasons. There are some affirmations I put down just to, like, I'm beautiful inside and out. You know, I was struggling with my skin. I'm still struggling with my skin, and I was becoming very, very self-conscious every time I would wake up with a breakout. And so I had to write it down. I'm beautiful inside and out. I'm comfortable in my skin. I flow through life with trust. I am strong, stable, and secure. And I use these words to motivate me and to encourage me in the different areas of my life. So while we are going through the year, we started well, but by March, whatever Primera was saying, I don't even remember the goals I set. So you know, you're like, where are those notes? I didn't even keep a notebook. I thought I would remember these things. But this session is supposed to reignite that fire, that is not too late. It's not too late to start again. It's not too late to dream again. It's not too late to start again. And so what are some of the inspirations that you have? You may think, dream, I don't have dreams. So what are some of those aspirations? Yeah, what are those aspirations that you want to achieve? Right now, you may think some of the things I put down, I may never achieve. I put some things on my vision board, and I look at them like, will they ever come to pass? But then I keep my affirmations. I say nothing is impossible. You know, I'm gifted, I'm talented, I can do this, opportunities are coming my way. And I look at this vision board and have faith, and it rebuilds me up even when I'm praying. So my encouragement to you is to keep the goals before you. Yeah, keep the goals before you. I had set out to learn to memorize, to memorize one scripture per day. And there are many times I forget even the simple scriptures. I'm like, you know what, let me go back to that drawing board. So those small things that you can do, you can start right now after this session. You say, what? Let me go back to the drawing board. Maybe I had kept my vision board away. I haven't looked at it ever since I got it. Or you have the board and you have never put the cutouts on the board. After this session, go back, put the vision. There are many things that we would want to change. When we had this session, we didn't know that we would have a Ukraine-Russia war, that somehow that war would affect my pockets, that now fuel will be at 6,000 or 6,090. We didn't have all that. So I can choose to have discussions on social media about fuel, or about the economy, about how the sky is falling, or I can work on myself, because all of us are going through the same circumstances. Some are, of course, some are really very, very difficult circumstances, but how you choose to react to them is what matters. So we have to take personal responsibility of where we are right now where we are, the decisions that we made in the different areas of our lives. Primera will say more about that. If we have chosen to, some areas in our family, yeah, when we had a session, you said, you know what, I'll get closer to my family. You scored 2 out of 10, but in June, you haven't visited your mother, you haven't called someone else or your brother, you're still not speaking to your sister, and you know, you're having issues with the husband, but at the beginning of the year, you meant well. So all these things, the dreams, will stay dreams unless they turn into action. And that's where Kathy is going to come in. Now, I have been reading a book called Happy Money, and it talks about response to money, how we react to money. And this year, that was one of my things. I said, you know what, I need to reorganize this. I need to get rid of the salary mentality, get rid of the one stream mentality. How do I grow this? And I started well. Every week. I had plans on how to, you know, this is how many things I'm going to do. These are how many sessions I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to monetize it. I'm going to, by the end of the year, I'm going to have 7 streams of income. I started well, but just like some of us on the call, you fall back a bit. And this is an encouragement to go back to the drawing board in the circle of life. What are the things that you set out to do, and what can you do? Make one decision of faith to follow through. So it begins with personal responsibility. Then in that image, you see a hole. And I was reading one of, there's a book I was reading, and I saw this poem, and I found it to be very, very interesting. I decided to share it here. It's about there is a hole in my sidewalk poem. I don't know, Primera, have you read it before? Have you seen it before? I think you're still muted, but anyway.
I came across it when you talked about it.
Okay. So there's a poem, there's a hole in my sidewalk. There was an assignment that was given to Portia. She was told to write 5 chapters of her life on small cards, just like this, just very tiny cards. And this is what she wrote. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It's not my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in it again. I can't believe I'm in this same place, but it's not my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. I found it very, very interesting, a very interesting piece. It represents many of the things that we go through in our lives. We walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk and we still stay on that street. In chapter 5, she says, I use another street. So in our lives, if there are things that we are dealing with, in 2019, same story, 2022, would you want a repeat of last year? If you don't want a repeat of last year, walk down another street. So you look at your life. We had asked you in Jan to take a life audit. If there are things that are happening over and over again, maybe it's time for you to walk on another street. Then there is another quote I wanted to share. Decide upon your major definite purpose in life, and then organize all your activities around it. In Jan, some of the questions that people asked were, what's my life purpose? And in June, we are still asking, what's my life purpose? And yet our lives are passing us by. How do you find your life purpose? Do you want to, open a Bible and say, whatever verse I land on, that I'll create my life purpose around it. Maybe I can look at Kathy and say, maybe what Kathy is doing should be my life purpose. I don't think that should be the case. So if we are to make progress and achieve all the dreams that we want to achieve, we should be able to know why we are here. Why are you here? Why should you get to the end of your life and there's nothing to show that you were ever here? Meaning that we need to look deeply within your life and find out, why am I here? What is my purpose? What is my calling? And if you're asking the same questions, you asked the same questions last year, and it's the same question you're asking now, then we need to evaluate, keep quiet, and re-examine your life and say, you know what, I'm not going to get it from a session just like this. I'm not going to get it from a podcast. It comes from re-examining your life. Sometimes your life purpose is from prayer. Sometimes it's from reading the word of God. Sometimes it's from, recognizing that, oh my God, I'm really, really passionate about this. That is how you can find out what your life purpose is. So there's some things that I wanted to share here that can help us in that area. There's an acronym, SHAPE, and I got it from one of my favorite books, The PurposeDriven Life. And talks about, if you want to recognize, if you want to find out what your purpose is, look at some of the spiritual gifts that you have been given. The spiritual gifts that we have been given. I'm very different from Primera. We might even go to the same church, but we're very, very different. Yeah. Kathy is my sister, but we're very, very different. We like different things. There are things that I do that she finds crazy. There are things that she does that I simply cannot even imagine. So all of us are gifted differently. What are some of those gifts that are unique to you? And then H for heart. What warms your heart? Is it children? Do you tear up All right. Primera, am I back?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Sorry about that. So look at the abilities that you have. Then what is your personality? What is your personality? What is some of the I don't know, Primera, am I still on?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, do you see my slide?
Not yet.
Please confirm if you can see it. All right, and then look at your personality. All of us have different personalities. Some are quiet, some are very social, some are very very thoughtful, some are not. So what is that personality that you have? That could also help you find out what your purpose is. And then your experiences. When I look at my life and the things that I have gone through in my life, these experiences have shaped who I am today. What are some of the experiences that you have gone through? So when you look at that acronym SHAPE, it can guide you in terms of finding your life purpose. So if we are to dream big, you can dream of the cars, the houses, the trips. But if you can't dream about why you're here and your vision, then everything else is really vanity. Everything is just material dreams. Dream about the impact that you can make to other people. How can you be of service? Then in order for us to change from the old life to a new life, the things that we need to change, the things that are blocking us from realizing our dreams, it begins with mindset, it begins with habits. Those small habits actually create the life that you have now. If you're always going to work late, it's a habit that you have created. It's not that it's an impossibility. It's not. It's something that you can actually do. You have just chosen not to get to work on time. Why? Because maybe the bed is sweeter, you sleep late, Netflix has taken over up to 3 in the morning. So those are some of the habits and things that you have decided to do that actually are affecting you from living you now. So if you're to reach out to your big dreams, you need to be able to change and have new habits. So this is my second last slide. Some of the things that are stopping us from dreaming big. One is self-doubt. At the beginning of the year, we started well. We're like, yes, Claire, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. Yes, you talked to us. I was so motivated. I'm going to do it. But then self-doubt comes in and it stops you from dreaming big. And the second one is approval seeking. Before I do something, I have to consult Kathy, I have to consult Primera, I have to consult my husband, I have to consult my parents, I have to consult my workmates, I have to consult people on social media, I have to post it on TikTok, as in before you make a decision, you know? So how on earth are you going to start when you need approval from everyone else? Yeah, I think you need to reduce the number of, the people you consult before you make a decision. So approval seeking stops us from dreaming big. And then the third one, being too attached to the past. Yeah, being too attached to the past. Some of us are too attached to relationships that are toxic in our lives. We are too attached to people who are no longer serving us in our lives. There are friendships, groups, WhatsApp groups that you are too attached to, and these are keeping you from dreaming big. So we need to to change the groups that we are in, stop being attached to the things of the past. You cannot progress. And then guilt of having made mistakes. All of us have made mistakes, some of us at a grand scale. and we worry that if we are to move into our dreams, into the future that we want, into this thing that we want to do, we worry, and that stops us from dreaming big. And then the second last one, the fear of exploring the unknown. Before you apply for a job, you need to know who the ED is, you need to know the procurement person, you need to know all their values, you need to know where they're located, you need to know the founders of the company before you actually take that job, So you're worried and fearful of stepping out. If I start a business in this economy, what if the Ukraine and Russia war continues for 4 years? I can't start a business as long as that war is going on. You will never achieve your goals. And then, of course, procrastination. Procrastination is one of our biggest vices because we're very busy. We have all this going on right now. We shelve our dreams. And before you know it, we shall be, saying Merry Christmas again and then back to zero. So these are some of the things that I found are stopping us from reaching our dreams. Let us look and see, how do I get over the self-doubt? Yeah, Kathy will help us do that. How do I get over being attached to the past? So my encouragement to you is not to give up. It's just media. You can start now. You can build that vision board now. You can write those affirmations now. You can start whatever you want to achieve. You can do it now. And so I wanted to just give you some main takeaways that you need to dream big. You need to think positive thoughts. You need to be determined. You need to act right now, right away. When you think about a business idea, it's about writing that business plan now. It's about doing that research about that business now. Let us not put things, I'll start next year. If you want to start your business in Jan next year, let all the homework be done this year, so that in Jan, you're actually starting, and then decide and act. Primera is going to tell us about that. Kathy is going to tell us about action. So, and last but not least, is know what you want. Know what you want. Sometimes you ask people how much salary would make you happy, and I don't know. Whatever they give me. No. What do you want, for example, from a relationship? What would you want from, a fulfilling marriage, or whatever it is? What would you want? If you know what you want, then when the wrong thing comes, you will know what is not right. So let us know what we want. Let us find out, try to define our purpose, and let us continue to dream big. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to Primera.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that. On the first session about dreaming big, it's been an interesting year. Like you said, we are midway through the year, trying to keep each other accountable, trying to keep yourself accountable. I have comments from people. Ruth says it's been a time of fighting battles of indiscipline, but she says she has become more aware, which is very, very critical. Like everything said and done, being aware, self-aware about this part of my day, or this, what I'm trying to do, my habits are what are killing me. Priscilla said she changed jobs in 2022, which is cool. Congratulations, Priscilla. Then Gina says it's been stressful having unaccomplished responsibilities. Priscilla also loves the affirmations that you have talked about. Then Claire talks about saying about understanding what you want in life is important. It can save you from a lot of things, for example, toxic relationships, and help you get rid of the past things that you have. Thank you so much, Claire, for that. So I am going to continue in my part, which is still part of what we have been going through. And one of the quotes I love most is, "Alone we can do so little, together we can get so much done," by Helen Keller. And that's where we are all here, to keep each other accountable, to be able to do things together, to be able to say, "I want you to hold my hand." Sometimes I've asked that. Kathy has given me an ultimatum on 2 things in my life, which she says I need to complete by December. So even if the one may have not been priority on my list, she has looked at me and said, "I need to get these 2 things done." So she's holding me accountable, and I'm happy that there's someone who actually knows me that well to be able to see certain things in my life and say that one or the other. So in January, we gave you 14 of this, which we felt maybe it may have been a bit complicated, or it might have been too much, but you can still use it. So I've made it a bit simpler now, because people kept asking, what does that mean? What does that mean in the wheel? So I've just gotten another one, more colorful, nice for today. And this is one of the most powerful tools I've come across in terms of doing and setting goals for ourselves through the year. Now, this wheel may look big, but what it means is maybe we pick 2 or 3 areas, maybe maximum 3 areas of our lives that actually need work. Now, work-life balance may not exist as much. There has to be just a life balance in our lives. So for me, what I do is every year pick 2 or 3 areas that I need to focus on. So this year, what is your focus? Is it family and friends? Is it growth and learning? Is it spirituality? What is it? Also, the first half of the year, what did you pick to focus on through the year? And what does that mean? Now, there's something more about this wheel of life, is it comes up with certain roles within our lives. For example, if I pick partners in love, that means I'm picking a wife role. If I'm picking family and friends, I may be picking a daughter role, a mother role, I may be picking a sister role. So what is it that we are going to pick? In terms of health and fitness, will I pick something there and say, okay, I need to get fit, I need to get better? So being able to understand what we are going to pick within those areas is extremely important. So what is it that you're going to pick today? And I'm going to say the rest of the half of the year, this is what I'm going to work on. Personally, for the first half of this year, I wanted to focus on career and growth in terms of, I was looking really, really hard to do something different within my area of work and say, this is what I want to focus on. I wanted to also focus on family and friends, in terms of family, my children, being able to understand what they're doing and things like that. Community has also been important for me as a person. So I wanted to take a minute or 2 and be able to pick one of those areas where you want to be able to focus on for the next 6 months. Now, this tool is available online and you can actually download it and be able to map out. Now, every time I've mapped out, the first time I mapped it out, it was a really bad amoeba. I had like items that were already on a 1, that were already on a 2. So the idea for this tool is not to have everything at 10. Some things will be at 5, some things will be at 6. What we do not want is to have things at 0 or at 1 or 2, but there will be items that are not going to be of higher focus to our lives at that point in life. So you may have, you are single, that means you may not be focusing on that area. You may want to focus more on career and growth. So that area may not be very big. Now, the other way you can use this tool is if you're a business owner, you can actually have 8 ways in which you want to make your business better, and then map out and say, according to my business, how important is customer experience? How important is the products that I'm building for my customers? And then you can actually map it out. So you can actually use it for your own personal life. You can use it for your business. If you're a parent, you can also use it. How many? Maybe you can choose 8 ways or 7 ways in which I want to be a better parent at. Some things you want to work at. And you put the wheel and you put them around the wheel and say, okay, these are the 7 areas I want to work on as a parent. And then you kind of rate each one and see, okay, out of these 8 areas, where I think maybe being a good parent, you must be good at these 8 areas. Every year, you can say, I'm going to focus on these 2. The next 2 years, the next year, let me focus on this and these areas. At the end of time, you find that you have actually balanced out and you're actually good at all the areas of your life. So I find this tool very, very important in terms of being able to understand what are the important areas in your life, different areas. It's not only about your own wheel of life. You can use it in every area, in your business, as a parent, in the different areas which you are actually, you have roles. So if it is being a wife, you can say these are the 7 areas I am, which I believe make me a good wife. Which areas am I going to focus on in the year 2022? Which areas am I not going to focus on and maybe focus on in another year? Maybe I am not at a 4, or maybe at an 8 already. So that one I can pack it and focus on these areas. So use the wheel to be able to also map up other areas of your life. You can use it in every single way. Spirituality, maybe the areas are more prayerful. I read my Bible more. I'm not taking maybe part, I want to take part in church activities. Maybe just what are those areas? So you can actually use it holistically, or you can actually break it down to actually support other areas of your life. The other way I have found to put really good goals is being able to use this SMART acronym. Now, I'm a teacher. I teach marketing for a living, and this is one of the tools that we actually use. So it was quite interesting. I say, if I can use it for my business, how can I use it for my own personal life to be able to make realistic goals, to be able to make goals that are amazing? So I'm going to give you an example of how I'm going to use it particularly. I'm just going to give an example generally. Why I'm giving an example is I want you to be able to use that example for your own life and be able to maybe set the goal when you're right here today with me. For example, if we have a consulting company, you have a business in your life, you say, okay, my goal this year or for the next half of the year is to get more clients. That's all we know. You have come to me and said that I want to get more clients. So the question is, as Premier, how do I get more clients? What am I going to do, right? How will I know when I've achieved that goal? Because achieving a goal is not enough. We all say, okay, maybe I changed jobs like Priscilla. Did you get the salary you wanted? Did you get it on time within the time limits you had put it? Maybe, maybe not. So, okay, for example, I'm giving an example about getting more clients. Now, how will I know when I have achieved that goal? How do I know that I'm on track? How do I even start with my goal? So Kathy will speak more into how to take action, but I'll just give you guys an example. So the first thing is, maybe I want to double the clients that I have. I'm asking for more information from you. Maybe we are just having a conversation. So Kathy wants to start a consulting company and ask her, okay, or she has one and it's going, how many clients did you have last year? Then she'll tell me, I had 10 clients. So how many do you want this year? I want 20 clients, okay? She's being more specific now. It's not like the first time when I asked her, what is your goal for 2022? She told me just to get more clients. We are specific. We need 10 more clients for the business. Now we're going to make it more measurable. How much money do you want in the year? I usually ask my clients that in my work, and they tell me, I want to get to 30 million. I want to get to 40 million. Where are we starting from? We are maybe making 10 million a year today. I want to make 40 million. The other one is to be able to make it actionable. To be able to grow to 40 million, what do I need to actually do as Premier in terms of my business? I can do one, revamp my content. I can create a strategy. I can create a tactical action plan for my business. I can also request 15 of you on the call today, right? And tell you, please come and try my service. I can give it to you for free. And then I ask you to make recommendations, to recommend me and give you referrals in that case. So in the case, Kathy will say, oh, I've used her service, you should use it if she comes across people. That takes me to the journey of making from 10 million to 40 million. The other thing I could do is increase my price. If my hourly price for consultation is 50K, I can actually move it to 70K. So in that case, I'm creating something actionable, things that are within my control that I can actually do to get there. I want a new job. How much money, salary do I want? Maybe I'm getting 2 million. In the new job, I am sure I have calculated all my expenses and I want to save. And I say, okay, for the next job, I am sure I need to make 3.5 million. That my figure is not coming from the air. It is something I've actually calculated. I know my rent. I know how much I spend every month. I know how much my tithe is. I know how much I'm sending to my parents. I know how much I use for food, how much I use for fuel. So in that instance, I know if my expenditures are 2 million and I'm earning 2 million, that means there's something wrong. I need to make more money. That means for my next job, I know I need 3.5 million. So if someone tells me, no, I'm going to give you 2.5 million, you know that is not going to work for you or it's working for you. You may say, okay, this is where I can get to. This is my maximum and this is my minimum. That means if your expenditures are 2 million, you know you cannot say 2 million. You're going to be living in deficit half the time. Maybe I'll make it to 2.5. Yeah, hope there are HRs on the call today. So the other thing is to be able to make that goal realistic. Realistic means is 40 million the realistic figure for me to make in 2022. That means I need to rethink and say, and I can ask Kathy, do you think I can make 40 million? Let's be real and realistic. All right. So we can agree that maybe 40 million may be a stretch, but we can actually get to 30 million. That means we have given ourselves a realistic figure. Then after that, it has to be time bound. For me, my goal was in 2022. I can say 2023. It doesn't matter. You can choose when you want to get that goal done. So at the end, my goal will read that the annual gross revenue for my consultancy growth will be that I'm going to grow it from 10 million to 30 million by December 2022. That's what it just roughly means. That means I have a proper goal now. I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about gross revenue, remember? I'm not talking about net. I'm not talking about it. It's just gross revenue, how much I'll have made by December 2022. I know the timelines and I know how much it is. So that means if I am coming back to be able to check how do I even start? I have put down some actions. How do I know that I'm on track? You can see your month on month. You can say, hey, July, where am I? I am now at maybe 15 or 16 million. I'm still too low. What else can I add to be able to get to 30 million? I still have maybe 5 more months to go. What else can I do to be able to get there? How do I know when I've achieved the goal? December 31st, I'm going to check my books of accounts and I'm going to see I reached 30 million. If I have 25 million, I did not achieve my goal. In 2023, I'll probably set something more realistic. Now, the realistic figure is usually something we have developed over time. It's not something that comes obviously. If you set a figure and you're not quite sure, you can just set a figure for yourself. Maybe I want to earn this much. You may not be sure you may get it, but it's part of dreaming big, being audacious. Sometimes we can give ourselves audacious goals, but being able to know that we achieve maybe 70% of it, and if I get to even 80% of that goal, then I'll have gotten somewhere. So 2022 started with us setting goals. I don't know if you set SMART goals or if you didn't set them. Now, I want us to go back and check each one of those goals. Okay, maybe I want a new job by June 2022. I want to earn this amount of money by this year. I want to start a business by this month. What are those things that we are going to do? Actionable things that are within our control that can be able to help us. Now, We do have people that can actually support you if you have a business or you have an idea in this area. You can reach out to me. I'll be able to give you a really good contact of someone who can be able to start that journey with you, be able to help you, be able to start those goals, keep and be able to help you develop the actionable things that you can actually work on, and be able to give you things that are within your control that you can start. I want to start a new business. Personally, this is what I'm saying. I want to start something, and it has been something on my mind, but now it's time for it to come out and be actionable. So I'm saying it in this call so that you all hold me accountable. When we're having this session in January, I want to be able to tell you guys that I actually moved from the idea to actually actioning it and having goals for it and where it has gotten to. So January, I am going to tell you about the idea, and I'm going to tell you what I've done with it, because it's a very new idea in my mind and something I've been thinking about for, okay, not very long, but there's a desire in me to actually action it. That's why I said today's session is for both of us, like you, me, yeah, to be able to actually get to actually understanding what are those milestones that you would like for your own life, and what is it that you're actually doing for your own life, and what I'm actually doing. Sometimes setting goals for me is, you have to be audacious. Sometimes you may want something and say, let's say, for example, what was on my list, maybe a salary, maybe that you cannot get to. But one thing I've learned is, okay, I have set it there, but then what else do I need to be able to get there in terms of things that are in my control? I can study, I can be able to do online courses. Sometimes the online courses are actually much cheaper and less stressful because you're able to do them at your own time and say, I'll get from here to this point, and be able to make sure that by a year and a half, I've finished a certain number of courses so that I can be able to apply for the next role. What else can I do? For example, if I want a certain role, and I have gotten people who have approached me, okay, I want a certain role, I want to volunteer for it. Okay, sometimes someone may only give you fare home, but what does that mean? I have been able to learn something new, something that no one can actually take away from me, to help me with my next role and my next job. So thank you so much for listening to me on the section of setting goals. Those are the two tools that I've come across that are extremely helpful. You can use them in any part of your life and in any way you like to be able to use them and implement them. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kathy.
Thank you so much, Prim. Someone is asking for your number in the chat. Thank you so much for those insights and reminders. Thank you so much, Claire, for reminding us to dream big. Without dreaming big, we cannot set goals. And without setting the goals, we'll never go out of our comfort zone to take action. So I'm here to remind us on the issues that might have stopped us from taking action and how we can overcome them. Thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen shortly. Am I able to see my screen? Okay. Just need to toggle the screen a bit. Just a minute. Okay. Seem to have frozen. Claire, Prim, are you able to see the change in slides?
Yes, you can see the change.
Okay.
Maybe you can use a slideshow.
Mm.
That be better. Just at the bottom.
Okay.
Is that up icon at the bottom for slideshow?
Mm. I want to change the, okay. I don't seem to have control over my own screen. Okay, let me first end it. Okay, sorry for the delay. Okay. Okay. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, Kathy.
Ah, okay. So having had our big dreams, written them down, it's time for us to take action. I know it's the beginning of the year is a bit unsettling. We've moved jobs, we've changed supervisors, and then we're coming out of a season of staying at home, working from home into back to office, the integration. Then we get into a season of fuel crisis. And so it just becomes so difficult for us to stay on track. But I'm here to encourage us that that dream that you wrote down in January and all that dream that has just been dropped into your spirit just because of you attending this session can actually take off even before the year ends. And so I just want to encourage all of us that whatever it is that we feel may not happen this year can still happen. And so from the image you see there, the lady, I didn't have a chance to show her previous pose, but she was standing on the golf course, wondering how to hit the ball, but eventually she did. And so I encourage us to actually stop looking at the goals, stop looking at how ambitious or feeling how very, very ambitious, but instead to start taking little steps of progress. Just take a bit, stand away from what could be stopping you from acting, and then you swing that the golf stick, that the thing that is going to swing whatever it is that you have to out of the way into meeting your goals. Many times we treat our dreams and the passions that we have, the purpose that we are pursuing, like a sprint. And yet this is a marathon. Why is it a marathon? It's because it's going to take you, the road is not usually very, it's not the same in a marathon. Let's say you're taking a 5-kilometer marathon. Sometimes you're on the Maram, then there's a detour onto a tarmac road, there are hills, there are valleys. So it's not a straight 100-meter sprint. And so we need to reduce on the speed at which we want to, at which we look at these things being achieved. Because when you start out at comparing yourself with someone like Warren Buffett, who already has his billions, and you also want to start out in Forex or in investments, and you feel that because you can take coffee, because you can miss that meal, you'll be able to catch up with Warren Buffett. Warren has been in the business for over 70 years. So just like those billionaires that we see, and many times the stories that we hear of even our peers, it's not just been overnight that they've achieved these things, but it's been a long process of learning, of failure, of falling down and being picked up again, of forgetting to look at your vision board, forgetting why you started in the first place, and you feel like giving up, but you continue, wake up the next day and continue. And so it's not 100-meter race, Bolt style of, within the next 2 days, my business is going to be registered. I'm going to be on the top #1 sellers of this item, but it's a marathon. And so when you look at those big, ambitious goals that you wrote down, the dreams that you have, just know that it's going to be a marathon. There is no one watching you and counting the number of minutes and days and weeks that you're taking, baking and improving and pruning yourself, adding the spices for you to be a better person. And so take it like a marathon. That is how life is. Do not take it as a sprint. Believe in yourself. There is this idea that has kept you awake for days, for weeks, sometimes for years, but you still want to inquire. I think Primera and Claire have really hinted on that you want to ask the entire clan, you want to ask the government, you want to ask your supervisor, you want to ask your children, you even want to wait, but maybe when I have grandchildren, that is when this idea will be better placed. Because then now, I'll have this whole community behind me, and just in case it goes wrong, I have all these people around me, and I would have inquired from them, so I won't feel as bad. But in doing that, we waste a lot of time. We waste a lot of time. You want to lose 5 kilograms by the end of the year, but because it's been a long time of you making that promise to yourself and not actually fulfilling it, you feel like it's so out of reach. But I want to encourage you that the mere fact that that idea, that feeling is in you, know that you have it in you to actually bring it to life. Know that even if the kilograms have piled on over the years, that when you start, you actually have a better outcome than when you just thought about it and doubted yourself. Doubt is a killer of many of our dreams. And so I'm here this afternoon to encourage you, ladies and a few gentlemen on the call, that the idea belongs to you. The idea belongs to you. There is something in you that is going to make it manifest. Believe in yourself. Do not wait for validation from so many of us. Because if you tell me today that your goal is to get $1 million, looking at the economy now, $1 million in the next 2 years, looking at the economy now, I might have all these reasons why it will not work. But the fact that you own that idea, that you have written down that goal for yourself, believe it that you will actually do it. So we need to fight doubt, that nagging voice in your head that tells you, no, you cannot do it. If you failed for the past 30 years, if you failed for the past 6 years, you will not be able to do it. I'm here to reaffirm that it is in you to believe in yourself, to make that dream come true. It is in you. When we look through history, the people who have really broken the barriers and changed the frontiers, it's because they actually had to fight doubt. And I've read so many of their stories in which doubt was so powerful at the point at which their breakthrough was right about to happen. The ladies in science who have broken barriers, who have taken a man to the moon, they had nothing to prove that they could actually take that man and bring him back. But because they believed, they went over the numbers and they said no, without any doubt, because of these calculations, the man is going to come back, without even knowing the outcome of their action. Belief in yourself is going to break so many barriers. And when you believe in yourself, you convince the rest of us who are watching you to believe in you, to believe in your idea. And so right after this call, go step away from that is giving you a lot of doubt. If it is social media, is it the people who you follow? You need to be very careful about the people you follow. They should inspire you and not create doubt in your abilities. Do not spend a lot of time calculating. Like I said, life is a marathon. There's going to be a time of fast pace. There's going to be a time of slow down. There are going to be valleys, hills. And so the belief in yourself is going to help you overcome a lot of that along the journey. Please lower the pressure you put on yourself. Yes, you've set the goals and it is June. June is ending. The financial year is starting. And you had promised yourself, and even some of the accountability partners that you might have got, that by this time, I'm going to have sold 25 pairs of shoes, but you haven't, you have not sold any. And so you beat yourself up. You promised yourself that by June 30th, you're going to have shed off 2 kilograms of the weight. Instead, you've added 2 kilograms. And so you beat up yourself. Now, in beating up yourself, you start to see the negative in the situation. You're like, after all, 2012, 2013, up to 2022, I've been writing the same goals. I think I'm not supposed to. I'm not any good. I'm not any better than those people who don't set goals. In fact, maybe if I'm to achieve this goal, I'm going to have a crash diet, and in having a crash diet or in exercising too much, too fast compared to the rate at which your body can adopt, you risk your life. And so I want to encourage you that because you have this great idea, you have this dream, if it's in weight loss, if it's in moving further up the career ladder, you've written the CVs, you've gone to school, you've actually decided to network, you've joined Project Girls for Girls, so that you get the confidence, you meet all these amazing women, you're inspired to go to the next level. But then you wake up and it's June and nothing has happened. And so you decide to block off everyone else, to stay in your own little corner. Depression is setting in, or you decided that, okay, that because it's June and I'd already set out to lose these 2 kilograms over the entire year, now I think I need to lose 1 kilogram in the next 1 week. So the other kilogram is for the rest of the year. So you starve yourself, or you get pills that are not recommended by the doctors, and you just cause more harm than good. Lower the pressure you put on yourself, because life is a marathon, like I said, and it's beautiful. Write down, go back today, write down the things that you can achieve in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Yes, the beginning of the year was difficult and you are not able to do so much, but today, turn a new page. Turn a new page. Start from today. What is it that I can do in the next 1 week, in the next 2 weeks? If you follow social media and there is someone who managed to lose those 15 kilograms that you're fighting off within 2 weeks, unfollow them. It's not realistic. Anyone who puts you under so much pressure, if it's social media, if it is someone you normally meet and they just speak negativity over your life, change the lane, like the story of the hole in the sidewalk. Change the lane. Please, ladies, do not crash under pressure and most times we crash under pressure to amaze other people who are watching, for hand claps from the people who are watching, and yet all these things we do are better when they're for ourselves. The things that we're doing are for ourselves, and when we do things for ourselves, we illuminate that goodness, the things that we achieve with the people who are watching us, and so it becomes a benefit to not only you but the people around. So please, ladies, reduce the pressure you're putting yourselves under. Life is beautiful, and the fact that you're living now means you have so much left to achieve. Track your progress. And by this, I mean, do you have a book, a notebook, as simple as it may be? If you're not tech savvy with all these technology or apps and all, just write down, what is it that I set out to do in January? Or what is it that I'm setting out to do from today? Is it to start a business? For a very long time, I told Prim and Claire that I want to start a business. They asked me, what is the business? I said, I just know I want to start a business. Okay. So Prim was like, do you know the things that it takes that are needed for someone to start a business? I said, I'm going to read about them. So as I read, I realized, okay, for my business to be legit, how about I go back for a small panel beating of a certificate? So when people ask, how exactly are you a happiness coach? I have credentials to show. So I wrote it down. Okay, in order for me to be a happiness coach, because I want to see the world a better place. But what do I need to do? Get a certification. Number 2, do I have a company name? Reserve the name at URSB. Number 3, apply for company status. Number 4, okay, who am I going to be working with? Oh, is it going to be online? What is my target market? So when you break down the tasks, all the different dreams, all the different goals that you have, it makes it easier for you to track. So when do you want to get certified in a certain thing? Put the date down. And it is okay if the date comes and you're unable to. Can you put a new date to it? No. Number 2, after you've gotten that, or as you're getting the certification, you want to reserve a name at your RSB. Do you have the name? By this date, I should have an idea of the name. By this date, I should have actually finalized on the name that I want. And then by this date, I'm going to apply to your RSB. It is so much easier to achieve your dreams, to achieve your goals, if you're tracking your progress. When it is stuck in your head, it is overwhelming. You want to lose weight, but Now, what do I do? It's a big elephant in the room. But if you break it down into simple daily tasks, which help you track your progress, because the small tasks add up into so much. Let us not leave the tracking of progress to project managers. Even these goals, as you've written them down, the ideas that we have, they're little projects. So you need to track the progress. And because today you've seen that, okay, by 30th June, I should have walked 1 kilometer. You tick it off, and that is progress made. It stops being overwhelming. So you break down these things into achievable tasks, and then we tick them off as we progress. That should help us take action. Every single day, you look forward to ticking off something on that tracker. It doesn't have to be something fancy. It doesn't have to be Excel, because Excel can sometimes look very boring. Just a notebook for you to write down date, action, date, revised date, done, status, done. And you see that it's so much easier to get off the couch and do the things that we want to do. There are many times when the things that we want to do seem out of reach. You have a dream to sell ladies' shoes, but you've seen the bigger shops. There's this very common one. It's 256 shoes, something like that. It's in Galilee. They're aggressive on social media. They're aggressive on WhatsApp. And so when you look at them, it becomes so overwhelming for you. And so you decide to just, stop and drop everything else, because they seem to have moved so fast. But you don't know that they needed help. Perhaps there's someone who runs their WhatsApp. Perhaps there's someone who helps them when they're feeling a little challenged with the taxes, with the clearance of their shoes, at URA. So you need that social support. Join the Womenpreneurs group in Project Girls for Girls. There you just simply ask, where do I get this material from? Someone on the group will help you or direct you to the person who is going to help you. Do not work in a silo alone. It can be overwhelming. It can be stressful. And the days when you don't feel like doing anything, you can easily text somebody, someone in that support group it can even be one person who you are accountable to, or who you may not even be your accountability partner, but someone who you always get positive vibes, positive energy from. Need the social support. Are you failing to kick off that idea? Can you ask someone who is in the same business, or someone who is encouraging, someone who will give you the appetite to start? Have you seen someone in office who seems to do things in an almost abnormal way? She's always energetic. She's always, ask her, how can I do that? How can I tap in some of that energy? You need social support in order to make these big dreams come to life, because there are days when you feel like giving up. There are days when you need someone to tap you on the back and say, well done, just go home and rest. You've done your best. And so we all need that social support. Everything said and done has a strong foundation in why you started. Know why you started. Knowing why you started is going to push you leaps by leaps and bounds. Why is it so? When this idea comes into your mind, many times it's coming from a place. It could be something you lived through and you want to change. That is why this image is of a pencil, showing that all the other pencils are turned top bottom, while one is bottom up. Because this is you. You have that thing, that strong desire boundary breaker, to be the best in your field, to change the course of your family. That is, you have to know your why. That is why Claire started off with purpose. Do you know your purpose? And she gave us a guide on how to find that purpose. Because if we run or if we move in our purpose, amazing things happen. The world is moving at a terrific speed. And so many times we compare ourselves to our neighbors, to our friends, our teammates, OGs, OBs, whatever is around us, we tend to compare. But even when things seem to be always moving at the same pace, there's always a gap. Are you able to identify that gap? And if so, is it the reason why you want to start this business? Is it because you grew up in a family that never showed so much love to one another? And so for you, one of your goals is to show that love. And so your goal is, I have to visit my mother. I have to make sure my siblings meet up. I have to make sure this family stays together. You're that pencil that's standing the right side up. Know your why, because when you meet challenges, you will go back to that why. When you turn in your bed, you know that when the doctor said, if you go over this amount of kilograms, you're going to become diabetic, high blood pressure is going to kick in, your organs are going to start failing. That is the reason that makes you get up and to take that walk, that 500-meter, 1 kilometer walk to once a week, and in small amounts. Know your why, because knowing your why is going to be the energy that is going to push you forward. There's a story of a lady who, she's called Rose Bumpkin. She came into the US in 1917 with almost nothing. She came in with her husband and 4 children. And she purposed, because of the life she had seen where she was coming from, I've forgotten the country. They came on a ship, and when it docked in Ohio, she was like, I will never, ever starve. My children will never, ever starve. I am going to be the first generation to bring money into our home. And I'm going to move everyone who has stayed wherever they have stayed. I'm going to bring them in one by one. And she worked in factories. She kept on collecting those coins. And whenever she would hit a certain target, she would send the money and a relative would come in. Eventually, her parents came in, her husband's parents came in, the siblings that had stayed behind came in. And then she decided that, you know what, this factory work is not cutting it for me. I am going to make sure that if my kids are going to go to college, I am going to start a side hustle. So she started selling old clothes, secondhand clothes, in other words, because at that time, in the 1919s, 1920s, there were a lot of Jews coming in because of, whatever was happening. And there are people who needed those clothes. There was the upper class and then the lowest class. So she started reselling clothes, kept on saving money, and it accumulated. So she got $2,500. When she got that money, she said, you know what? I am going to start a furniture business. I have noticed there's no good quality furniture for the lower class of people. The lower class always gets the bad things. For me, I'm going to be the one to make the good, to sell the good furniture at a good price. And so many years later, Warren Buffett bought her business at almost $30 million. But what was her why? Of course, it wasn't easy, even collecting that money. There are days when she almost had nothing to collect. There are days when she almost lost her job in a factory as she hustled in the secondhand clothes. There are days that were hard, but her husband kept on supporting, encouraging her that she remember, we are not going back to those days. So knowing your why is going to be the catapult into wherever we want to go. It's going to be that bouncer onto which we step and it propels us forward. So I encourage all of us, what is your why? Find out why you want to start something, because it will help you accomplish it. And last but not least, as we practice, as we get into the habit of taking action, I encourage all of you to practice visualization. It is not just magic. It is not magic, in fact. It is scientifically backed. It is spiritually backed. From the scientific perspective, our brain does not differentiate between a memory and between what is unreal. Isn't that amazing? And so for everything that you think about and spend time thinking about and imagining, the brain does not differentiate. So how about we spend so much time visualizing our future? I just want us to take a simple practice, just every day. What are the goals that you've written down? What is that dream that is audacious and almost hairy and scary, but you know it is yours and it is yours to earn and live? Is it to travel? Even in travel, where do you want to go? Let us say you want to go to Paris. How about you start enjoying the walkways of Paris? Just close your eyes and actually visualize yourself in that place. What does it do? Because the brain does not know that it doesn't differentiate it to be a memory, it actually thinks you've been there. If you've been timid, you do not want to stand in front of a team to even present or to make a presentation about the progress that a company has achieved, you know that's the thing that's going to set you apart in your team. You're very good at making the presentations, you always pass them on to your supervisor. But then there's a chance for you to gain that confidence to actually present these things. You know you've been asked before, but you always turn down the offer. From today, can you visualize yourself to the point of actually seeing what you want to present? It has to be that clear. So you have the goal, you look at it, you close your eyes and see it as if it is as real as I am talking to you. That action alone is going to create confidence in you, because your brain is not differentiating it. It doesn't differentiate imagination from memory. So it's going to assume that Catherine Amara has made this presentation before. And slowly by slowly, as you make it practice, you will gain the confidence. It's not magic. It is scientifically proven that slowly by slowly, is it a bakery that you want to start? Can you visualize that oven, that you opening that oven, getting out that cake, designing that cake, sending it off to the customer? You imagine that process, and how much money do you want to get at the end of that day? Is it 1 million shillings? What are your goals exactly? Imagine those goals. See them as they have to be. See them, and eventually you gain the confidence to do those things, because there are those the active neurons in your systems that will just start getting to work. What does it take? Confidence. Confidence will be, you just find yourself confident about the matter. And when you have confidence, capability shows up. You've made that first presentation. People see you as capable. You've made that first sale. You're already getting, activated. You're already activated into achieving that target. And eventually, what you envisioned becomes real. What does visualization do? It creates confidence. It creates confidence. Confidence leads to capability. Because when you're confident, you do. And when you do, you become capable of that thing, that task that you're doing. And eventually, guess what you're doing? You're taking action. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to visualize. Many years ago, Claire talked about a movie they watched in school. So many years ago. I was actually in primary school, and she kept on talking about The Secret. And she said, you know what, Kathy, can you imagine, you can close your eyes, imagine these things, and they come to pass. And I think for her, she dropped it. But for me, I was curious. I'm like, does that stuff actually work? And so I started visualizing the things that I actually wanted at a very young age. In primary school, the thing that I wanted the most was to go to Mount St. Mary's Namagunga. In P7 results come out, Namagunga, I used to take only 4s. I had a 5. But I had walked through the gates of Namagunga in my mind. In my mind, I had walked through those gates. I had no idea of how or who to call because of that 5, but the capability, the confidence had all added up into very good results. Getting the 5 was because I missed 1 mark in SST. The rest of the results were very good. And so when they were ranking the 5s to take to Namagunga, I was top of those 5s. Then years later, I used to always imagine, I always wanted to travel. Now in P7, I had traveled to Europe, and that's also another story of visualization. But visualization in a sense of vision boards, in which I used to look at images of Europe. You look at them, I used to dream about them, and eventually I went to Europe. But the thing that baffled me the most for me to actually do a research on visualization is the fact that I used to envision global, the international airports so vividly that the day I landed at Dubai airport, I knew I had been in this place before, only for me to realize that I had been dreaming of those glass pillars and everything for so many years. And so that is just on the other side of where it's just, luxurious kind of dreaming. But what about to bring that practice into the things we actually want to achieve? What is it that you want? What size do you envision yourself to be at by the end of the year or in the next 5 years? Envision that size. You will gain the confidence. You will get the capability to actually lose that weight. Is it a business that you want? How do you want that business to look like? How do you want to approach the customers? Envision all those details of that business. And I am telling you, you come back here to tell us that it all came to pass. Please, in case you need vision boards, Claire has vision boards. If that's what it will take for you to envision the things that you want to envision. And I also reaffirm the fact that when you dream big, it is not by mistake. It's not by mistake. It's just that life happens. Life happens and we lose track of those big dreams. We think they are impossible. But I'm here to reaffirm that the moment that dream is in your spirit, the moment you think about those things, you have already been given a go ahead to achieve those things. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, I beg you, I ask you that no matter how small the progress is, it is still progress. And so take the initiative to start today. I end with this quote from Buddha. There are 2 mistakes one can make along that road to truth. And that truth is our big dreams, remember? And our goals that we set. Not going all the way and not starting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me. I know that from now on, we're going to start. It's time for action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kathy, for that. Thank you for that presentation on taking action. So we can dream big, we can set those goals, but if we don't take action, they'll just remain in our mind. They shall remain in that book. They shall remain on that dream board because there has not been action. Claire, please put your number on the chat. Alice would like a dream board, and okay, Claire has put her number. So anyone else who would like one vision board to put in there? I have samples today here, but they have nothing on them today, so I don't want to show the ones which are empty. So in the first week of February, we had a physical session where we actually sat and did the vision boards together. So I'll ask everyone to look out for that session. We will have another one next year, and we'll sit together again with the vision boards, and then we try and put them together. We bring everything, we bring all the material, so you're able to cut out, you're able to do different things and actually go with it partially finished, and you're able to go home and actually understand how you should finish it. So please look out for that session. It's a physical session. You get to meet me, you get to meet Kathy, you get to meet Claire, you get to see our vision boards, and then you get to make yours, you get to make new friends. So you're welcome to that session. And thank you so much for making time to be with us today. We are really, really, really happy that you actually made the time to actually listen. Visualization is actually very important. Claire talks about it in Jan a lot, and she shows you how to visualize your goals and your dreams and putting them in one place to be able to get them. This session has been recorded and it's going to be uploaded for you on YouTube, on the G4G YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it there, or you receive an email from us, which will have that recording, the link to the recording, and you can listen to it again. Please check your emails. You will receive an email, that's for sure. You can also check on the G4G YouTube page. Thank you very much. We've shared the book that Claire has talked about. You can find us again on 8th July. We'll be reviewing a book. Yes, Claire, we'll be reviewing a book. So you can find us on 8th July, G4G, and also some other activities we shall have in July. Thank you very much for this session. Thank you for coming. So nice spending time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Prim. Thank you, Claire. There's a lady who had her hand up.
Just a second.
It moved so fast. Oh, she's called Mary.
Yeah. Mary, you can speak.